I grew up reading comic books, and most of the heroes that I was really into were mostly men, you know, like Spider-Man, Batman, you know, just stuff like that. And there was really no actual woman, except for Wonder Woman, that I could really, you know, kind of relate to. It all has to do with the strength. I really wanted to make a character out of my mother because I kind of, you know, I see her as a superhero, especially with most of the stuff that she's been through.
Jolene Yazzie is Navajo from Lupton, Arizona. As a graphic designer, her art is powerful. It expresses outrage at unjust situations. Her images reflect women as warriors, ready to defend and protect. All expressions of her own concern for women everywhere who've been mistreated.
Domestic violence was pretty much a major part of when I was growing up too. My mom used to work for a battered family services in Gallup, and she would go to different schools to talk about domestic violence and to talk about, you know, date rape and stuff like that, especially to like young girls.
Like Jolene, Tlingit artist Tommy Joseph of Sitka, Alaska, creates art that tells stories, art that heals. With the help of the children in his community, he made a pole for the Sitka Family Justice Center. It symbolizes peace.
The rainbow on the pole, the idea for that came from grade school kids. We put suggestion boxes in our local grade schools, and they were presented the question, what does peace mean to you? Because that's what this pole was portraying, peace and harmony in the home.
As he carves, Tommy often finds himself explaining some basic misconceptions about totem poles.
Misconception that totem poles are gods, you worship them, they're to ward off evil spirits, things like that. Just misinformation, stuff that everybody was taught when they were growing up about totem poles, and that's what they were. Well, that's not what they are at all.
Another of his poles honors the memory of a beloved Japanese photographer, Michio Hoshino, who documented the heart of Alaska's wildlife before a horrible accident took his life.
We treat these objects as if they were people, and when they're all done, you know, there's treated with respect throughout. They are given a name like you would give a person a name. I did a poll for the Kiksati clan here in Sitka. The Kiksati are the first people that settled here in this area. It was a memorial for telling the story of their side of the 1804 battle against the Russians. I guess that one had a lot of meaning, but they all have meanings.
Our society is so product-oriented. If you take this much time and you spend that much time in the woods with this many roots, this is what you're going to end up with. Here it is. Ta-da! And my thinking is, don't look at the end. It's the journey. It's the journey that's so important. This is a reflection of my journey. I've been journeying for a long time.
As Terry Rothkar notes, the importance of place is a common theme for Native peoples. The art often tells of their journey. So sometimes art is not meant to be sold, but rather created to record the history of the people.
So like a totem, it has symbols to help tell the story. And the fault line is that fault line that goes all the way down to California, and it runs right by the mouth of Lituya Bay. My uncle was in there. There was an earthquake, and that was when there was this huge tsunami that hit. Remember, it's a very big bay with a very little opening. So like a fishbowl, it kind of sloshed back and forth before the water went out to the Pacific Ocean. And it took all of the trees and all of the vegetation down to bedrock. The side borders are that imagery. There are events that are of legendary proportion, and we have a responsibility to record those things because we are making the history today.
I was in the south of France working in 1987, and I had these visions of my ancestors calling me back home, that I was done out there. I had had my fun, my education, my fun. It was time for me to come back and do something. And so I paid a lot of attention to that.
That vision led Governor Rivera to help create the Poe Center in Pewaukee, New Mexico. The center offers classes on making traditional arts, Pueblo clothing, pottery, jewelry, and more.
Poe means a traditional pathway, which encompasses really a lot of what you do in life, and whether if it's like I've mentioned before, whether if it's business and/or cultural things, you're thinking about how to give back to your community, how to take care of your community, how to protect your community, and then how to respect all of that you're involved in.
Sean Tafoya teaches pottery and embroidery at the Poe Center. His garments are worn on important ceremonial occasions in many Pueblo communities, where they represent prayers for rain, goodness, and health.
We ask for everything for everybody so that everybody will be okay, that everybody will have long lives, and it's not just for us, it's for everybody. It's for the world.
Pueblo people have always prayed for everyone around the world, so it was no different when terror struck America.
When 9/11 happened, it was just right there when I was watching the TV. I was, oh my God, and then, but you got to keep going, and so much stuff is happening, I just felt really bad for all the people that got killed.
Sean's tribute to the 9/11 victims is part of the Poe collection, reminding folks that we're all Americans.
I was thinking more along the lines of evening, dusk, just at that point where it's starting to get dark and you're starting to see shadows and you can't kind of make out what's ahead of you or around you.
Some of Navajo painter Emmy Whitehorse's paintings express the fragility of nature.
It is about beauty, I'm not afraid to show that, because it's one of those things that sometimes artists avoid. You don't want to have beautiful paintings. You want to show angst, you want to show your anger, you want to show all this, fighting with, visceral fighting with the canvas, but that's, I don't know, that does not appeal to me. What I see is beauty, and that's what I see around me, and that's what I hope that people see in the paintings.
I just want people to realize that there's a strength within themselves, and it's always going to be there.